Hey everybody, and welcome to rabb1t's Ramblings, podcast 358. This time I have a bit of a surprise, in that I'm talking about a game I didn't think I would be talking about, which is Curse of the Dead Gods. It is a cheaper game, which is both a rogue-like and Souls-like, in that it's kind of what I would call a new school arcade game, because you go through and you die, and you lose basically what you have on your character. But there is some permanent progress retained between runs, so you can alter some aspects of your character as you are starting, as well as what you might find in subsequent runs. And I got it on sale, and it has been a pleasant surprise so far, so I thought I would talk about it. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the show. Curse of the Dead Gods is a cheaper game. It's around $20 on Steam. I don't know about the price on the other systems, but it is by Pastech Games and Focus Home Interactive. I don't think I've gotten any of their other stuff. They don't seem familiar sounding to me. As I said in the intro, I would qualify this as a new school arcade-like game. It is high action. It is 3/4 perspective in the style of Diablo-type action games, but it is both a Souls-like game in that you are focusing more on sort of timing, interaction, and positioning than just spamming abilities, as well as a rogue-lite in that when you die, you lose pretty much everything your character has, except there are permanent unlocks as you play through, so your odds of getting through the run improve, as well as maybe having some different starting stuff when you start your next run. For those who are worried about these kind of games, there is not a traditional difficulty setting in that it only has one difficulty, but there is an assist mode where you can sort of tweak and fine-tune different settings to make certain aspects easier. Like if you turn it on, the first option you can change as a slider which will restore a portion of your health upon entering a room. Normally you don't recover health at all. The last option you have is to make your character seemingly completely invulnerable, so I guess that's like super easy mode. So in a lot of ways I would say this is much better than a traditional difficulty setting, because you can change just certain aspects that you find too difficult or are maybe struggling with. Whereas a traditional setting would just change, all of the things. Darkness, light, and corruption will all play a big part in your survival during your run. I've only played for a few hours, so I don't know exactly what each impacts. But I think the amount of light you have will increase the damage you do, as well as reduce the damage you take. I'm not entirely sure on that. And corruption I will get into in a little bit. Each run is totally randomized, and you have your choice of a few paths you want to follow through the temple you are attempting in order to get to the end boss. So you do have some choice in that you'll know sort of what the next room is, but not how it's laid out or what exact monsters there will be. Like your choice will be, this room has gold, or this room has a weapon, or this room has an artifact. And then you get to pick, I want to get this and this and this thing, so I'll follow the path sort of like this. As I said, you'll want to stay in the light, but as you are holding your torch, you cannot use weapons, and the torch does effectively 0 damage. It's not even really worth trying to hit the enemies with the torch. So you will want to switch to your weapons, but then again, you have to be careful because then your torch isn't out. So you might want to light something up. There are many things to light in various areas before you start fighting the bad guys. Some monsters can corrupt you, in addition to other ways of gaining corruption, and at 100 total corruption, you'll gain a curse, which can do a number of various things. Your character can have up to 5 curses. The 5th one is, I think, called the final curse, and I think it's always the same. But these curses aren't always necessarily completely bad. One, I got cursed in a way where if I was hit, then the screen would go black and white, my UI would completely disappear, but my dodging cost 0 stamina. So that was actually kind of good and bad. Speaking of stamina, using your secondary weapon, using a heavy weapon, or dodging, or I think charging up your main weapon, because you can hold sort of your main weapon and charge it for a second. All of those will take 1 point of stamina. You have a maximum of 5. They do recover pretty quickly, but it does make a really interesting mix of when you want to time certain attacks, how you want to weave sort of light and heavier attacks because you don't want to run out of stamina, because you might need it to dodge or you might need it to do a heavier attack. So that gets very interesting and strategic in terms of, when you want to hit, when you want to use stamina, and when you want to sort of back out and maybe take a little breather and recover. You can also block attacks, and doing so actually gives you a bonus in that I think it cripples the opponent's armor that you blocked, as well as making them sort of a little tiny bit stunned. And if you block or dodge at sort of the right time, it's, the perfect dodge or the perfect block, you will instantly regain stamina. So you're kind of encouraged to stick around in the fight and block or dodge at the right time. If you are watching the video right now, you will see me doing a lot of not dodging because I'm kind of bad at that right now. And the controller button isn't the same button as what most use for dodge. So definitely getting better at the game will require you to learn the buttons as well as correctly timing things. You can play on mouse and keyboard if you're on PC, but I would definitely recommend you play with a controller of some kind. If you can make it all the way through the temple, you can unlock deeper challenges with special tokens. So far I only have access to the 3 basic single temple runs, but I think as you get the special tokens, you can unlock different versions, which will give you, I think, access to run more than one temple at once. There's off the top of my head, I think like 5 locked things. I don't know what they are because they're locked and it doesn't show a preview. Also, after each run, when you die, you will go back to a sort of central hub area, which has the very first door that you will open. And in that area, you can unlock various abilities for your character, swap out sort of what they start with, unlock special bonuses that might make it easier to do during the run. So you would want to try and do the best you can, and then spend these special tokens in between each run. If you are looking for what I would call a new school arcade game, which some would call an action RPG, but it is a little bit more challenging in that you want to go for timing, you want to go for strategy, you don't just want to spam things, I would definitely say give Curse of the Dead Gods a look. So that's all I really have for this week. E3 came and went. I was surprised it was online. I wasn't really paying attention to it, so it just kind of snuck up on me. There wasn't a whole lot at the show I would say I didn't know about or suddenly became super interested in. The only one that I can even recall off the top of my head was, I think, Redfall, which is just over a year away from now, so it's a long way off. But pretty much the things that are coming up soon that I already knew about and want, like, Dying Light 2. That wasn't really shown at the show because we already knew about it. So nothing really to talk about for that. I guess I'm still doing okay. I still have some of my money saved for pretty much the car insurance is the big thing. I have some money building up into savings that should also cover my web space for the year. So that should be okay at the end of the year when that comes up. Oh, the mask requirements have supposedly been laxed in my area, but me and my sad homeless life isn't really affected. Pretty much everywhere I go, everything seems the exact same. People are still wearing masks, and some places, I guess, are saying it's voluntary now, but everybody in the area is still doing it. I don't know if that's because they don't know about the law or if they're maybe just being extra careful. But nothing has really changed in my area yet. I expect it probably will be a couple more months before any real change starts to happen again and go back to sort of a new normal. But I guess for the moment, I'm trying to hang on. It's getting super hot lately, so that will be weird. I might have to start going into the library to stay cooler, even though it's only open a few hours a day. But that's an option if it does start to get too hot. So that's good because, a few months ago that wasn't an option. But I'm trying to hang on as best I can. I don't know what I'll talk about in 3 weeks. I don't think anything is coming up except for Dark Alliance, which, I don't know, I've got a lot of reservations on that one. But if I get it, I guess that would be something to talk about. If I don't, which I don't think I will, I don't know what I would talk about. But that's, 3 weeks from now. That's a while. So what I talk about is what I talk about. And hopefully I'll see everybody then. Okay, thanks, bye. You can play on mouse and keyboard if you're on PC, but I don't recommend it. I would definitely recommend.
You have been listening to Rabbit's Ramblings. If you would like to see the show notes or feed the bunny by sending a donation, you can find the show website at www.rabbit.com/podcast/rabbitsramblings.html. When you type Rabbit's Ramblings, don't use a space. If you would like to send me an email, you can do so at rabbit@rabbit.com. If you like my page, you can also post on Facebook at rabb1t's. You can follow me on YouTube at rabb1t's. I have a page on Patreon at www.patreon.com/rabbit, RABB1T. You can set up a monthly recurring subscription there at a price point of your choice. Be sure to put the number 1 in place of I anytime you type Rabbit. Rabbit's Ramblings is copyright Eric Stryker, using a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Derivatives License, 2021.